We're streaming live. I'll just
Mind
check.
you, if you're going to take
YouTube.
2 weeks to put the damn thing up, you might as well have it up for more than
Yeah.
2 weeks, I guess. But, yeah.
Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors. Thank you all very much for turning out on a very cold night, and I welcome you to this full council meeting. Welcome to all members of the public who are watching it via live streaming. I can confirm that this meeting is being live streamed via YouTube. I'd like to remind you that it's being conducted in accordance with our standing orders. At this point, it doesn't look as though any members of the public have turned up to speak, so none of there. As you know all the fire exits. You've been told about them enough. First, most important part is, can I ask you all that you have all received the documentation required to consider the agenda items, and please confirm that you have received them and read them. Thank you. What we'll do now is we'll start with the agenda. Yes, the public question time, you're saying that no members of the public have asked to speak. Right. We'll move on to item 118, which is apologies of absence.
Apologies of absence received from Villis, Stannard, Watkins, Knott. And I've also had apologies from District Councillor Alex Jeffrey, and County Councillor Nigel Jupp.
Right, thank you for that. On that basis, without the 2 district councillors, I was going to ask you to bear with me and agree to exceed the 2-hour limit, but I think we will be, we won't need it. But I suppose it's just good if we agree now that if we don't complete tonight's agenda, we'll exceed the limit, but it won't go on for any more than a half an hour after. So that would be a 2.5 hour total time. But I do hope that with those councillors' absence, we should be able to continue and complete the agenda. Next item is 119, which is declarations of interest. I ask you, have any of you any declarations of interest to announce as a result of the items on this agenda? No? Thank you. Item 120 is the Chairman's report, and I was just going to report that the Remembrance Day service went well. Weather was kind to us, and it was good to see the rest of the community out there remembering that day. I've done it for quite some time and was looking for somebody else to help or take over the reins, and it's very good that Councillor Potts has stepped forward, and thank you very much, and we'll meet to sort that out. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 121, which is Executive Officer's report.
So, to report, so the tenants of Eastons Barn, Little Barn Owls Limited, have been in contact to confirm they will exercise their purchase option as per the lease for its expiry date in March 2026 to acquire the freehold. They have confirmed they're prepared to meet the price in the updated valuation carried out by Chartered Surveyors Crick May, and I've contacted Surrey Hill solicitors accordingly to advise and assist with the contractual process. Councillors are reminded that we will be having 2 budget setting workshops as scheduled, 6 p.m. Wednesday 26th of November and 9:30 a.m. Tuesday 9th of December, which is session 2. You do not need to be at both. It's not imperative to attend both, but please do your best to attend at least one of these. We have 2 different sessions on the basis that not all of you can make daytime or evening, vice versa. But yeah, just to clarify, you're not required at both. A draft budget following both workshops will be submitted initially to the F&GP committee in December, before a final draft budget will be submitted to the council meeting of 21st January 2025 for consideration. The budget and resulting precept for financial year 2026 to 27 must be approved and submitted by the 23rd of January 2026 at the very latest, and this deadline has been set by Horsham District Council.
Thank you for that. We'll now move on to
Sorry,
item.
can I just ask a question? You said there was an updated valuation for Eastheads Barn. We haven't seen it. And I know at the time there was talk that if the village green was accepted, that it could change the valuation. Has there been a change then to the valuation?
I'm just conscious we're not in confidential session. The valuation has remained the same.
So the village green had no bearing on it?
Well, it was considered as part of the new valuation, but it has not changed the valuation in terms of the price.
Yes. Thank you for that. We'll now move on to 122, which is correspondence.
So I've had correspondence from Horsham District Council confirming the draft tax base for financial year 26-27, so from the 1st of April 2026. Unusually, it's actually decreased from the previous year, or this current financial year. There's a decrease of 0.13%, which the draft tax base as it stands for next year is 4,865.5. And that's based on the Band D households. So that figure is calculated by taking it like all of the different types of bandings and then normalising it to a Band D level. If any councillors have been on the finance training on setting budgets and things with Mulberry Local Services Company, then I believe that might have already been explained there. If not, if anyone's interested, I do have some previous emails I've sent to councillors which I can fish out and which explains how Horsham calculate it.
Thank you for that. We'll now move on to item.
Can I just ask a question about the barn? There is a map that shows some of the land that's on the barn side of the fence that's actually covered by S&P 7.
Right.
Justin sent me the map. So if they're...
Yeah, we're not on that item
No, I'm
at
just
the
making them
moment.
aware, that was all.
Yes, if you contact the executive officer separately on that. We're now on to item 123, which is meeting minutes. You have in front of you the minutes of the full council meeting of the 17th of September. We are to receive and approve these. So can I have a proposer and a seconder for those minutes, please? Erica Haddon, Councillor Haddon has approved.
Yeah, just before you go to a vote, just to note that I will be correcting a typo in the meeting minutes on page 2. Councillor Philippa French, 2 Ps, 1 L.
Right. Well,
Apologies. Yep.
That was spotted. Right. So apart from that amendment, Councillor Haddon proposed. Is there a seconder for accepting these minutes? Councillor French has seconded. All those in favour? And obviously you have to. Any abstentions? Any against? No. Right, thank you for that. We now move on to matters arising from those minutes. Are there any matters arising from those minutes? None, thank you. Right, we'll now move on to item 2 of the meeting minutes, and that's the extraordinary council meeting of the 15th of October 2025. We are to receive and approve these minutes. Can I have a proposer, please? Those present were myself, not Haddon, Potts, Cole, Turnbull, Brown, Watkins, French, Brierley, Everard, Pearce and Vickers. Right. Can I have a proposer? Councillor Pearce has proposed, Councillor Haddon has seconded it.
To a vote, please.
Can I have a vote in favour of those minutes being accepted? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that's it. That's unanimous. I think.
Can you just go through?
Any abstentions? Any against?
Okay.
No. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 124. We've received Councillor Jupp's apologies. No doubt if he's got anything to report, he'll send that in, which will be distributed.
Just to note, he did ask if any of you have any queries related to the County Council, just to get in touch with me and I can forward those on to County Councillor Nigel Jupp and he'll come back to us or you as and when.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 125, which is District Council reports, and we've had the same apology from Councillor Jeffreys, who's attending a meeting in Horsham District Council.
He did
Yes.
say he would try and get here at some point this evening if he could. But in his absence, just to confirm that the council meeting earlier, the council agreed to allow Horsham Town to become a parish. So there'll be elections to a parish council for Horsham Town in May next year at the same time as the mayoral elections.
Right, thank you for that update, Councillor Vickers.
I've just received a report through from Alex Jeffrey, Councillor Alex Jeffrey,
Yes.
which it's not too long.
Would you like to
Yeah.
just give a summary, please?
So local plan update. Last week, the council formally wrote to the planning inspector, Luke Fleming, requesting that he reopen our examination hearings, citing a change in circumstances since premature suspension of examination hearings in December 2024. The council issued a press release citing our letter and the reasons for requesting resumption of hearings. The council has submitted updated evidence to demonstrate that the council has adhered to the duty to cooperate, with the insistence to the inspector that an officer from a neighbouring authority also be in attendance to give evidence of our compliance. This is promising news, with Mid Sussex, whose local plan was also halted, having their hearings reopened in January. I will update the council further as and when further information is available, once we have received the inspector's response. Creation of a town council for Horsham. Earlier this evening, the council voted to create a town council for the unparished area of Horsham Town, which remains one of the only two areas in West Sussex that remain unparished. I'm particularly delighted as Vice Chair of the Governance Committee, as a lot of time and effort has gone into shaping these proposals to ensure that the unparished area retains a local voice post-devolution when HDC is no more. We will now begin to employ a clerk, with elections scheduled to take place in May next year. White Ribbon Campaign 2025. White Ribbon, as you may remember, is the campaign to engage men and boys to prevent violence against women and girls. HDC will once again be supporting the West Sussex WI in their White Ribbon events this year. They will be holding two separate events in Horsham Town Centre, which all members are invited to attend to show their support. Saturday, 22nd of November, they will have a stall in the market in Carfax, promoting the wearing of white ribbons and raising awareness about the campaign. And Tuesday, 25th November at 5 p.m. They will be on the Carfax bandstand for a vigil for victims of gender-based violence, which marks the start of the 16 days of activism. Section 106 Non-Financial Working Group. As part of the Financial and Performance Scrutiny Committee, I am part of the Task and Finish Group looking into Section 106 non-financial obligations across the district. I believe that officers reached out to Parish some months ago to request any examples where non-financial S106 obligations had not been delivered upon. If the Parish are aware of any non-financial obligations that have arisen since the original request, please do flag them with me so that I can raise these with the working group to include as part of the scope of what we are looking at. Finally, death of Helen Peacock, Head of Green Spaces and Sustainability. Last month, we learned that our Head of Green Spaces and Sustainability and resident of the parish, Helen Peacock, tragically passed away after a short illness. It was a pleasure to work with Helen, who was a resident of the parish on areas within the parish, most notably in respect of the country park. She's greatly missed and leaves a huge hole in the organisation and the wider community. As I'm sure councillors will fully understand, projects that Helen was heavily involved in will suffer delays whilst the council looks at how to fill Helen's now vacant role. As such, we would ask for patience and understanding with projects Helen was working on whilst we evaluate the best way to move forward. Best wishes, Councillor Alex Jeffrey.
That's fine. Thank you very much for that. We'll now move on to item number 126, which is accounts. So to receive and consider approving the balance sheet and earmark reserves of October 2025. Are there any queries? If not, can I have a proposer, please? Yes, Councillor Cole has proposed. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor Pearce has seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you for that. We'll now move on to item 2 of the accounts, and that's the detailed income and expenditure of October 2025. Again, I need a proposer and a seconder. Councillor Vickers has proposed. Do I have a seconder, please? Yes, Councillor Pearce has seconded. All those in favour? And again, that's unanimous. Thank you. And we'll now move on to committees. Item 127.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
So the meeting minutes under item 17, I would recommend an amendment to those meeting minutes where the resolution is to ensure it more accurately represents what was agreed. So if you refer to page 8 of the meeting minutes or 34 of your councillors' pack, third paragraph down where we've got the resolution, Councillor Brown proposed approving the acquisition of land. When you get to contingent on there being no licence transfer to Southwold Gill CIO, to include it not being part of the leisure management agreement. And then at the end of that sentence, it should say in perpetuity.
Are we able to, as an organisation, put in perpetuity in?
That's what was approved as a resolution.
Right, okay.
Whether the council can or not, I don't know, but I'll report to our solicitor.
Yeah.
But that was the resolution, so I can't enact those amendments. It will need.
Yes, yeah.
When approving the minutes, someone will need to propose those amendments, but those are what are recommended.
Right, okay, so we've got then, well, the first item is for the finance and general purposes.
Sorry, one more amendment to that. So
Yeah.
just to be clear, so no transfer to Southwold Gill CIO or as part of the leisure management agreement.
Yes,
Not look to redirect the path and would retain, and public access is retained in perpetuity.
so not look to redirect the path. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So, for item 1 of 127, which is the Finance and General Purposes Committee meeting minutes of the 15th of October. You've heard of the amendments there to the item on page 8. Does anybody have any other comments to make? No? In which case, can I have a proposer for accepting those minutes, please? Councillor Pearce has proposed. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Briley has seconded. All those in favour of accepting?
Chairman, I'm abstaining because I left the meeting before
Right.
item 8.
Okay, I'll cover that on. So all those in favour? Any abstentions? 1. Any against? No. Thank you for that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may cover the next item, item B.
Mm-hmm.
So in view of those amendments to the meeting minutes, this is just to ratify item 17 of that committee agenda. And I would suggest here, as part of the resolutions, that it's inclusive of the amendments that have just been approved in those meeting
Yes.
minutes.
Right. Does that need to be voted on separately or not, or does the initial
I think just for the ease of the meeting minutes, I'd
Yeah.
prefer it if this was also voted on, yeah.
was voted on? Right. Okay. So can I have a proposer for that, please? Councillor Pearce has proposed. A seconder, please.
Brown. Oh,
Councillor Brown. All those in favour? Councillor Haddon? Yes, thank you. Any abstentions? 1 abstention, Councillor Vickers. Right, thank you. We now move on to item 2 of 127, which is Planning Committee, to receive and approve the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting. You've had the planning minutes within there. Those present at that meeting were myself, Haddon, Everard, Stannard and Pearce. Can I have a proposer to accept those minutes, please? Councillor Haddon has proposed. I need a seconder for that.
Councillors present.
Councillor Pearce was present.
Derek Moore, Councillor Pearce, Erica Haddon, Ian Stannard, Lloyd Everard. So
Can I, a seconder? Right, Councillor Pearce has seconded it. All those in favour who were at that meeting, and I think there's only 3 of us, so yes, those are accepted, thank you. Item 3 of 127, Health and Safety Committee. Is there anything? There is nothing to report. Item 4, which is HR Committee, again, nothing to report. We now move on to item 128, the internal report, the interim audit, to receive and consider.
So this was in the pack. Just to note that the audit was undertaken by an independent and fully competent person, which is Mulberry Local Authority Services Limited, and took place on 8th of October 2025, and the report was circulated to all councillors on 9th of October by email. The auditor suggested 2 considerations: increasing the delegated expenditure power with an approved budget of the executive officer to be commensurate with the council based on its size and the experience of the executive officer RFO, and to ensure the IT policy is adopted prior to year end. The IT policy was actually approved by the F&GP committee in October, so we're now compliant on that. And just to reiterate that the IT policy is now part of the new assertion 10 in the annual governance and accountability return. The amended financial regulations are presented at this council meeting for consideration. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Right, okay, I need a proposer to accept those. Councillor Briley has proposed. I need a seconder for those. Councillor Cole has seconded that. So can I have a vote, please, in favour of accepting the interim audit report? That's unanimous. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 129, which is financial regulations. Consider and approved C-track changes. Now, do you want to give an overview on this, Justin, please?
It's just all the amendments are highlighted in track changes, and those are the only changes that are really being considered. So expenditure power from 1,500 to 3,000 for the executive officer or proper officer, and then the F&GP committee to increase its expenditure power from 7,500 to £10,000.
Yes. Right. Okay. I'd like a proposer for the approval of the amendments to the financial regulations. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Vick has proposed and Councillor Cole has seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you for that. We now move on to item 130, which is scheme of delegation. We've got 9 policies here. Good bedtime reading. Now, the first policy is item 1, which is scheme of delegation. And you can see the track changes on the scheme of delegation. Are there any areas of discussion? If not, can I have a proposer for the acceptance of those changes to the scheme of delegation?
Sorry, Chairman, I just have one question. I'm not sure which policy it was in, but I was unclear on the neighbourhood plan will be delegated, but will that come back before full council?
So neighbourhood plan will need to go in front of full council for the sort of the overarching final decision on the making of a plan. But the planning committee has delegated powers under its remit and the scheme of delegation to deal with everything related to the neighbourhood plan up until that point. So I'd have to double check, but ultimately I think only the full council can approve going to referendum with that document, and that's how things have been dealt with here. So as and when, so the reviewed plan that was sent to Horsham in November 2023, that went through the channels of planning committee, then it went through full council from memory. But that's still in draft because it hasn't been progressed any further from there. And actually, there will be a more detailed update at our December planning committee meeting as to kind of the next steps with the neighbourhood plan. But I have sent out a report to the neighbourhood plan consultation group. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Right. Yes, Councillor Turnbull.
I think there's some wording in the delegated powers scheme that says that the current one may be seen as unlawful or contain unlawful wording or misleading wording. How long's that been in there?
So that has been in there for some time.
And have we ever delegated powers used in any of those paragraphs?
Not to my knowledge. So if you read the notes, these are the notes I put in there. So this wording is misleading and arguably unlawful because members individually cannot be delegated authority under the Local Government Act 1972, Section 101. Only the proper officer can be delegated authority.
That's right, but it's been in there for a long time, and I've only been a councillor for 3 years. So I just wondered if it's been used before, where people have singularly made.
In the time that I've served, I've not known a councillor use delegated powers on their own.
Not even during COVID?
No.
So even during COVID, it was
COVID, yeah.
authority was delegated to the proper officer,
Yeah.
which wasn't me at the time, the deputy, which was myself, and then 2 councillors, which was the chair and the vice chair.
Yeah.
But no single councillor can be authorised to do anything.
Yeah. These changes now correct that position, and it now clarifies the situation completely. So can I have a proposer for the scheme of delegation with the track changes amended? Councillor Vickers has proposed, Councillor Brierley has seconded. Can I have a vote, please? All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you for that. We'll now move on to 2 of policies, and that's risk management schedule.
So the actual risk management schedule in terms of the risk assessment of everything, that's not changed since the May meeting. The main update here is the, page 2 of the document, which actually just gives an overview of what the purpose of the document is. We had some feedback on how to improve the policy, and it was just to have some policy wording at the start.
Right, thank you for that. Yes, you'll see on the first page of that, or the second page, it then sets out policy objectives, scope, responsibilities, and review. So that now clarifies that. And as you've said, that none of the risk management policy in terms of the risk analysis has changed. So can I have a proposer for that, please? Councillor Pearce has proposed. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor French has seconded. All those in favour? And again, that's unanimous. Thank you for that. We'll now move on to 3 of 130, and that's communication strategy policy. You'll see here, again, highlighted changes. The reason for the difference in colour, red and blue, is because the executive officer and
Community engagement officer.
the community engagement officer have made changes so that they can keep a tab on whose is whose. They're in different colours. Can I have a proposer to accept the communication strategy policy, please? Councillor Brierley has proposed, and a seconder. Councillor Pearce has seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. All unanimous. Our next is item 4 under item 130, which is the Finance and General Purposes Committee remit. And again, see the track changes. It's clarifying a quorum of that committee. Can I have a proposer? Proposer is Councillor Pearce, and a seconder, please. Councillor Potts has seconded. All those in favour? Thank you for that. That again is unanimous. We now move on to item 5 of the policies, and that is the HR committee remit. Again, see track changes.
It looks like there's a lot more added to this, and most of it can be explained by cross-referencing to what's in the scheme of delegation, just so there's more clarity as to what the HR committee's remit is. When reviewing it, the current HR committee remit, which you can find on our website, doesn't really have much to it. You can see that from the track changes of the bits that have been crossed out. I think there were only 3 bullet points under terms of reference.
Yes. And as recorded under 2.2, when there's any conflict between this and the scheme of delegation, the scheme of delegation shall prevail, because that's the higher. It's now recorded that that's the one that determines what how it works. So again, can I have a proposer for the HR committee remit policy, please? Councillor Vickers has proposed. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Pearce has seconded. All in favour? And again, a unanimous vote. Thank you. We'll now move on to the town and village green policy. Do you want to just give us an outline on?
So I think the briefing note covers this. It's a new policy, so it's been through the planning committee already, and the planning committee's recommended it to council for adoption. So it's really just to consider adoption. You'll see from the policy that it's split into 2 parts. One is registration support, and part B is the management of registered greens. As you'll be aware, or may be aware, Nutham Lane open space is a village green, so that just gives council guidelines on, as it owns the land, on how it will continue to maintain it, and makes reference to the various legal protections. So it's just to ensure that the council's now regularised and got a formal document on village greens.
Right, thank you. Yes, we didn't need one before, but it's good policy now, because then we've got a policy on how we deal with village green applications. So, yes, Councillor Turnbull.
Bearing in mind it's a new policy, can't we review it every year, or review it in a year? Why wait 4 years? Bearing in mind it's a brand new policy and we haven't got any experience in it. It says review every 4 years.
Review every 4 years. If you look, it says, or sooner, where changes in legislation, land ownership, statutory guidance, or community use warrant an earlier review. So if it warrants an earlier review, then we will review it.
I'd still be more comfortable if it was just a year, in a year's time, then review it. Rather than wait for someone else's opinion, I'd rather have it as...
Well, it's not somebody else's opinion.
But it will
It's
be.
something that will change through regulations that will cause a review to be necessary. We don't want to burden ourselves with just reviewing things that we
No, but it'll only take 2
we
seconds.
know it hasn't changed.
It won't take long. If there's been no changes, then I must admit I would like it to be reviewed next year. Just the fact that it's a new policy.
We don't do that with
Well, looking
any
at
other
these-
new policies.
We haven't had any new policies for quite a while.
Yeah. And I would advise that these policies, the draft policies that have come before us, have been adopted by other councils and other local authorities. So
they
we're
will,
using
yeah.
in effect, best practice. I can't see.
I'm not querying the policy, I'm just querying the review
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
That was all.
Yeah, I can't see the need for 4 years of adoption. If you feel there is something in error or that needs reviewing, don't forget you and another councillor can then ask for that to be reviewed. So if you wish to do that after a year, that's entirely up to you. I think this will just fall in line with normal review policies. Otherwise we don't get a uniform process of reviewing policies. So you can ask for a review with another councillor and ask for it to be reviewed. So it doesn't preclude you from doing that. Okay. So could I have a proposer, please, for the town and village green policy? Councillor Cole has proposed. Councillor Vickers has seconded. All those in favour? Again, that's unanimous. Thank you for that. We'll now move on to the Item 7, cookie policy. This is not biscuits, this is things to do with our website. Again, this is another new policy that we have.
I'd just like to
Yeah.
put forward an amendment to that policy.
okay.
We should have a review period on there. So approval of this policy would be subject to having an amendment of a review period, say every 4 years,
4 years, yeah.
unless
Unless legislation or changes in legislation require us.
or otherwise,
Or
yeah.
otherwise, yes. The only, and I don't want to, it's something we need, but it's the wording of the policy as it's been set is it's we, where we usually have the council.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, I think that's a change that we can incorporate. So wherever it says we, it should be the council.
Yeah. Councillor Briley.
Chair, yes, just a question. Do we have anything in any of our policies regarding AI and the use of AI?
Not yet, no.
Okay, I think that's something that we might need to look at because it's becoming far more prominent and, yeah, I think we need to, yeah.
Yes. Right, okay. Can I have a proposal on with the amendment of a review date of 4 years, and also that we change "we" into the council? Proposer is Councillor Briley. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Vickers has seconded it. All those in favour? And again, unanimous. Thank you. We now move on to item 8, planning policy statement. You'll see the track changes there. A lot of this centres around the neighbourhood plan, and the design statement, the parish design statement. I've made no note of this. So can I have a proposer for the planning policy statement, please? The amendments to the planning policy statement. Councillor Cole has proposed. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Haddon has seconded it. All in favour? Thank you. That was unanimous. We now come to the last item of that, and that's meetings of the parish council policy. And we've crossed out a title of open and accountable, which looks far worse than it actually is, because it requires us to be open and accountable within the policy. Right, and again, the reason for the two colours, green and red, are two people's amendments within it. Is there any item for discussion? If not, can I have a proposer, please? A proposer is Councillor Pearce, and a seconder is Councillor Potts. All those in favour? And again, that's unanimous. Thank you. Right, we now move on to item 131, which is the Southwater Parish Council Business Plan. approval of the amendments to the business plan. Do you want to just...
Yeah, so this was originally meant to be considered and approved or considered for approval at the September meeting. There's no changes have happened since the September. This is the same document and briefing note that was sent out then. There's a few things have changed since then, but those will, when I come around to doing the next round of updates, I'll implement any council resolutions that have happened in between when this was sent out mid-September to currently. I'll be providing a verbal update under part 2 of this, which is kind of the plans moving forward on how we're going to update and improve the council's business plan. So really, this is just looking at the material updates which are listed in the briefing note. Then there's a list of non-material updates in there as well, just which don't don't necessarily require council approval.
Right. Okay, can I have a proposer for the project sheets? I need approval of the amendments made to those. Councillor Vickers has proposed. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Pearce has seconded. All those in favour of the business plan project sheets amendments? Thank you. And that was unanimous. Now, item 2 of that is to receive a verbal update from the executive officer.
So early in the new year, I hope to start work on a more modernised document. Having had a look over it recently, it's starting to look a little bit aged in terms of its formatting and its appearance. So not a non-material change, but would be to modernise how it looks and how it's accessible to residents. I think at the moment the plan could be split into 2 different sections. So moving forward, it will be a sort of a council strategic and action plan rather than business plan. Again, it's just the choice of wording and use, which would align more closely with what the rest of the sector does. Ultimately, it is still a business plan, but we are not a business, we're a council. But yeah, it's so I'll be working with the community engagement officer and assistant executive officer to remodel aspects of the plan, bring in more visuals to really demonstrate and sort of just make it a better document in terms of residents. The project sheets will still form part of it, but they'll be a sort of appendiced. So the 5-year action plan will still be a key part of the document, but will be sort of pushed to the back. So when residents are looking, they're not overwhelmed with all the detail. But if they want to access it, they can look at the detail. I think once we start work on it, we will contact councillors if any councillors want to help get involved in the appearance, and it might be as a result of that there'll be changes to the plan that we'll need to bring back to council. So early in the new year, once I get started with the team, then we'll put an email out to see if there's anyone who wants to provide input.
Thank you. Yes, and for existing for those that have been here for longer than our new 3 councillors, I do recommend that you take time and look through that, because I can remember when I first became a councillor, I was asked by somebody, a member of the public, so what are the plans of the parish council? And at those times, our plans weren't that clear. And I have to be thankful for our executive officer to put them into a business, which was called a business plan, probably not the best choice of words, but what it did is it outlined what our aims were. A lot of these were taken from consultation with residents during the neighbourhood plan, so they fed through into it, and of course it gives us something, a vision of sort of where we're going, what we're planning to do, what the residents are, highlighted as things that they wanted. So yes, I would recommend that get in and do a bit of digging in there, because it gives you the visions, and also it helps in terms of budgeting, because you've got the costs in there, so that feeds through as we're doing the budgets as well as to the expected costs. So yes, thank you for that. That was just a verbal update.
Can I make a point?
Yes, certainly.
It's just that obviously this thing's going to take a completely different shape if we get the reorganisation of local authority, because we'll be then taking on responsibilities which are not envisaged in this context at the moment.
That may well happen, yes.
And I think
Yeah.
presumably you'll be thinking about that as you put it together.
Yeah. Right, thank you for that. We'll now move on to item 132, which is Southwater Village Hall charity. You want to explain? Or
Oh, sorry.
you want me?
So currently, the parish council appoints 2 trustees as representatives at the Southwater Village Hall charity. There's currently a vacancy. The other councillor trustee is Councillor Erica Haddon. So it's to consider appointment of that vacancy. So the Village Hall have followed up with me to find out when the council will be appointing someone to replace Councillor Steve Lewis.
Right. So I'm looking for a volunteer. Why? Just a reminder as to why we have representatives on there, and I believe to put it simply is that if the Village Hall committee was to fail through any reason, the parish council then take on the responsibility of that. So we need to be involved now during the day-to-day running. I have to say, I've served on that committee. I think it's a very well-run village hall. It really does serve the community very well. So I would recommend, if you want to get involved in something like that, becoming a trustee to the village hall, it does require you to become a trustee. So yes, a volunteer, please.
I'd just like to say it's not by any means an onerous task, and it's very good to find out what other organisations are doing through the village hall as well. So it's a real sort of gateway to the community, and I've enjoyed being a trustee for it. So.
Thank you, Councillor Haddon. So yes, does it? Oh look, well, Councillor French, was that a yes? I will. Thank you. Well done. Thank you. I think as Councillor Haddon was saying, that it's a very rewarding process. Also, you get to meet and to be in contact with others. We just need to approve that. So can I have a proposer that Councillor French is on? Councillor Vickers has proposed. A seconder is Councillor Brown. All those in favour? Yeah. You can actually vote for yourself. All right.
You'll see it.
On that note, it's unanimous. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 133, which is the Neighbourhood Plan Consulting Group.
So just to confirm, Councillor Vickers has come off this, and Councillor Villas, Vice Chair of Planning Committee, has expressed his wishes to be appointed. As this item is on the agenda, if there's anyone else interested in joining the Neighbourhood Plan Consultation Group, which I think will be quite busy in the coming year.
Can we have a list of who are members currently?
No, it isn't actually. Let me just get that list. Apologies. So councillors Cole, Moore, Turnwall, Watkins and resident John Mace.
Chairman, if I'm right in, John Mace was involved with the previous neighbourhood plan.
He was, yes. Yes.
Yes, that's what he said.
Yes, he's been a.
He did a lot of work on it. Yeah.
So yes, so the one councillor that has asked to join is Jeff Willis, who is the vice chair of planning. We need to vote for him. So can I have there's a proposer of Councillor Vickers and a seconder by Councillor Haddon for Jeff Willis to be appointed to that group. All those in favour? And yes, that's unanimous. Are there any other councillors that would like to be considered for the neighbourhood plan consultation group? While we're here, we can add more councillors if need be. No? Right, okay. We'll now move from 133. I'm now going to move into confidential session because the next 4 items need to be discussed in confidential session. So that will mean that the live streaming will cease, and I say goodbye to our members of the public watching, and that ended at
7:57.